Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to do more of an educational tutorial type of video. I'm going to show you guys how I get flawless face makeup. I did this video in the past, like more than a year ago, but obviously I changed up the way I do my makeup and the products I use. So I wanted to show you guys again how I get flawless face makeup. This is probably going to be a longer video just because I am going to go very in depth on how I do stuff, what brushes I use, what techniques I use, what products I use, product recommendations, all that stuff. So it is going to be a longer video, but you can skip around. But yeah, let's just get into it so this intro isn't too long. Put in my clippies. I get these from Amazon. Just type in creaseless clips, they'll come up. So obviously first is skin prep. Very, very important to getting flawless face makeup. Like, it's probably the most important step in my opinion. I have so many different primers that I use. I don't always stick with one. It just depends what I want my skin to look like that day. But first off, I have very normal skin. I don't have either dry or oily. It's kind of just neutral, so I can really go for whatever look I want. But if you have dry skin, you 100% need to use a hydrating primer. If you have oily skin, it doesn't mean that you can't hydrate. It's a great idea to always hydrate your skin before you do your makeup. It's gonna be more about the setting for you oily girls out there, or guys, or in between. So the first ones I'm going to show you are the Mercier ones. You guys know I love these, but this one is the illuminating one, so it gives you a nice glow. This is the hydrating one, so it's just a nice hydrator. And then this is the perfecting one, which just really gives your skin a really smooth appearance. I also really love this. This is the No Poreblem Prime Essence by Touch in Sol. This is really good. It helps with the appearance of your pores, and it's nice and hydrating because it's an essence. And then this is a pore filling primer that I enjoy. This is the Maybelline Master Prime Blur and Smooth one. So this is great if you want to kind of conceal those pores a little more. But if you don't want to invest in any primers, that's totally okay. Use just a great moisturizer, maybe a serum, a face oil, anything like that works. All of the Catrice primers are really good. All of the Maybelline primers are really good. Those two are the brands that I've found myself reaching for when I grab a primer that's drugstore. I usually use like two primers. I kind of combine things. I think I'm going to go in with the No Poreblem Prime Essence first, and then over top, more on the high points, I'm going to use the Mercier Illuminating one. I'm just going to drop this on my skin. Make sure you always put your primer under your eyes, especially if it's a hydrating one. It's just going to make everything sit much, much better. And then now the Mercier one. I'm just going to place a little dot on each cheek, my forehead, and my chin. Alright, you can see my skin is looking nice and hydrated and glowy and prepped for foundation. Now I'm going to go over some of the foundations that I like and enjoy the most. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder Youth Boosting Perfect Skin Foundation. I have mine in the shade medium 7. This is fantastic. It's not too full coverage, it's buildable, has more of a medium coverage, but it's beautiful. It just gives your skin this very natural look. So good, it's really worth it. This foundation is fantastic. It is the NYX Born to Glow foundation. I have mine in the shade Caramel. This is actually, it's so full coverage, it really is, but it gives you this really radiant look, and it doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and it wears really well. I really like this. I use this at school all the time. This is the Sugar Rush Skin Treat Poreless Tinted Moisturizer. I have mine in the shade Medium, and it does have SPF 20 in it. I actually just got this one, but my sister Sierra has been using it and she loves it, so I decided to give it a try, and I really, really, really like this. And then, as we all know, if you've watched any of my videos, you would know that I love this. This is a Lancome Skin Feels Good Hydrating Skin Tint, and I have mine in the shade 04 and Sand. So good. It's one of my favorite products. Actually, probably my favorite product ever, honestly. depending on what type of skin you have. If you're dry, definitely use something more hydrating. You do not want to use something that's mattifying because it's just going to grab on those areas that you're dry. And if you are oily, go for something more with a natural finish or mattifying finish. And if you're like me, you can use whatever you want, whatever type of effect you want to give to your skin. So today I'm going to use the Lancome Skin Feels Good just because it is my go-to and I think it makes my face look flawless. So this is the BH Cosmetics number 2 brush. This is my favorite foundation brush. It has just like the perfect amount of compactness. I don't know if that's the word. I like how it has this flat top. I like how it's a little shorter so you can still get coverage from it and it's not going to suck up all that product. And obviously you can use a beauty sponge if you would like, if that's your preferred way. If you have more dry skin, using a sponge is a great idea because it's just going to add some hydration in there. Do a few lines. I do it on my cheek, my chin, my forehead. And when I blend, it's kind of this tapping but also blending motion. As you can see, it's super fast and I'm like, it's almost like I'm using a beauty blender on my face. Like, I don't like to just go in circles and swipe it because I feel like that kind of creates streaks. And personally, when it comes to color matching, I like to color match to my chest because my neck never has a tan unless I'm fake tanning. But my neck never really gets a tan, but you can see that my shoulder compared to my neck is very pale. But my face, using that color, matches my shoulder more. So then when it comes to the end of my makeup, I just kind of check on my neck and I'll like apply some bronzer down there because I don't like to put a bunch of foundation on my neck. Because honestly, that's just really difficult to get off. But I do blend it down here on my jawline so that there's not just like this line of demarcation. Now for concealer. With concealer, I'm all over the place. I don't really have a favorite. I go back and forth between a lot of things, but I'll show you the ones that I've been using lately. This is the Born to Glow. Matches with that foundation I showed you from NYX, and this is in the shade Natural. This is the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer. I have mine in the shade Beige. This is more of a light coverage concealer, but it's still so beautiful and it gives you the coverage that you need to cover up dark circles and discoloration. It's a great concealer. We all know this. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer. I have mine in the shade Sand Sable. This is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I have mine in the shade Macadamia. I really don't think I have to speak on this. I think everyone knows about this concealer, but it's just great. It's really great. And then this concealer. This is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. I have mine in the shade Light 50W. But just go for a concealer with the type of coverage that you want. Today, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline one because I just have been loving this and it never fails me. Never ever. For concealer, this is my absolute favorite brush to use on the planet. It is the Real Techniques Soft Accent Brush. It has this amazing shape where it's like slanted and it just fits in here perfectly. I love it. How I approach concealer, you guys have probably seen this on TikTok, but I don't do it all over. I go right in the corner, just like that. I skip that part of my eye, and then right here on the edge, I pull upwards. You want to bring it up at an angle as if you were doing eyeliner. So I line it up with my waterline and just continue that. And then I put the concealer right there. Yeah, this is just going to lift the face. And like, I've been told this for years, but you don't need to put concealer everywhere. Just put it where you need it, you know? I'm just going to start blending this out. And with concealer, I do only a tapping motion. Because then also, it makes it easier to place it exactly where you want to place it. Concealer should be more strategic. I do drag it down the side of my nose, and then when I get here, this is when I swipe to bring it all the way to my hairline, and then I start tapping again in more of a downwards motion, and then I just run the excess on my lid. You can see, literally with me just looking forward, how much that lifts the face. Literally just doing that. and how much that concealer obviously brightened. I mean, look at this side. It's kind of scary. And then I always just put a little on my chin, not too much. And then forehead sometimes, but not always. If anything, it's literally the tiniest bit, like that. And there's concealer. So after this, I am very much a cream makeup type of girl. I need that cream makeup, cream and liquid makeup underneath my powder for everything to look the way I want it to look. Some people don't do that. Some people just do foundation, concealer, and then they go straight to powder and then go in with a bronzer and all that. I use cream bronzer, cream blush, and cream highlight. That way I can use less product when it comes to powders. So I have 3 cream bronzers right here. This is the Nude Sticks All Over Face Color in the shade Bondi Bay. Sadly mine, I don't know, got all messed up, so I just kind of have to like finesse a little bit. But it's a great shade. I just really like the formula of this, and I think it's great. This is the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick. I have mine in the shade Baked. This is awesome. Great shade for my skin tone. And then the last one is, this is actually a foundation stick, but this is the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Hydrating Foundation Stick, and I have mine in the shade Chestnut 09. So you can see it's just a darker color. I love using a foundation stick for my cream bronzer because foundation sticks are usually a little more creamy, so they're really easy to blend out. Honestly, any foundation stick from the drugstore in just a darker shade than your skin tone will be great for cream bronzer, cream contour. Today I'm gonna go in with the Milk Makeup one, and because this is more of like a harder consistency in the packaging, what I do is I go in with a brush straight onto here first. I feel like when I swipe it on my face, it kind of takes away my foundation and messes it up a little bit. So I take my Sephora number 56 brush. I've been using this in this only, so I'm just gonna go straight onto here and get product on the brush, and then I'm gonna start tapping. Or don't swipe this, I tap it. So the cheekbone, you can feel for it. You can feel where it starts and where it ends. It's usually right about at the middle of your ear where it starts, and then it comes down and kind of around like that. I'm gonna go right above that. I don't wanna go right on it. I'm gonna go above it so that it will lift the face. And I bring it up to where that concealer is as well. But I kind of do it in a triangle shape where I put less product here and I kind of stop it right about here. But I make it bigger as I come back to my hairline. I also feel like tapping product into your face gives you a little more control on where you're putting it rather than swiping. So that's why I do the tapping, and I also just like the way it blends it out. And then I just go onto my hairline, or my forehead. There's no really technique to this, I just do it. And then I always take the excess and just go right under my chin. This is going to shorten the head this way, like this. By putting bronzer or contour here and here, it's gonna shorten my face this way. You can take a smaller brush, but I usually just pinch this. Put some product on there, not too much. Sorry, the dogs are barking. And I just lightly go on the side of my nose. I think that even if you're not wanting to contour your nose, which I don't, I always think you need some color on your nose, or else it just kind of like looks wrong. Like the rest of your face is bronzed and sculpted and you have nothing on your nose but foundation. I always put a little extra on the tip to shorten it. Now cream blush. Cream blush is like a free-for-all. You can use whatever you want. Okay, I have like 1,000 sitting in front of me right now. I'm just gonna go through them really quickly. This is the Rare Beauty Nearly Apricot Melting Blush. This is in a pot, but it is a cream blush. This is the Nude Sticks All Over Dewy Color in the shade Sweet Peach Peony. This is so hydrating. It's like glossy. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see how glossy it is. This is a little mini milk makeup stick. It's the Halo Glow Oil Lip and Cheek. So it's more of a really glowy kind of like the one I just showed you. It's gonna be super glowy and glossy, but this one also has some little sparkles in it, not like actual sparkles, but just glowiness. I really enjoy these Maybelline Cheek Heat Sheer Gel Cream Blushes. I have 3 of them right here. This is the Flower Beauty Gel Crush Lip and Cheek, and I have mine in the shade Strawberry Crush. This is really, really pretty. It does have more of a dewy finish to it. And then this is like my go-to all the time. It is the Colourpop blush stick in the shade Under Pressure. I'm honestly just gonna go in with this because it's the shade that I want and it never fails me. So this is the Real Techniques number 200 brush. It's the Expert Face Brush. And I'm going to go onto here. Again, I don't like to swipe it on my face. So I just get some product on the brush. And I usually start in the middle of my cheek right here. Higher up. You don't want to bring it too far down to where your bronzer was. Try and place it above there. And I use the motion that I used for my foundation. And I'm going to start bringing it up kind of where you would put highlighter. I do bring it onto the top of my apple. As you can see, I'm not bringing it down here, but the top of my apple right here. And once I get it everywhere I want, then I just start tapping it and blending out the edges. A lot of people don't like to put blush on the apples of their cheek or anywhere near their nose, but I personally do. I just like the way it makes my face look. I like when my apples look nice and blushed up. And don't let anybody tell you that blush doesn't do anything for the shape of your face. It really does. It lifts your face a lot. Someone was trying to tell me that it doesn't, but it does. Something I always like to do after I do cream blush, because I can get carried away sometimes, is just go back in with my foundation brush. I don't put anything else on it, but I just kind of blend out right above where I put it, just to make sure there's not any stark line. And then I always put the excess on my nose and a little on my temples. That's just because I have no clue. That's just because I like blush and I like to be blushed up all over. Cream highlighter. I think cream highlighter is way more important than powder highlighter. I barely even go in with powder highlighter now because I finally found a cream liquid highlighter that does the job. I don't even need to add anything. And this is that. I've talked about this, but this is the Rare Beauty Liquid Luminizer in the shade Mesmerize. I'm gonna use it today, so you'll see how amazing it is. The brush I use for this is the Expert Edge Foundation brush from Real Techniques, number 217. I'm just gonna tap a few dots on the top of my cheek right here, and using that tapping motion again to blend it out. I like to bring the highlighter down, just the excess of what I just blended out, onto the apple, just to give it a little more of a glow. And you can see how beautiful that is. Like, it is gorgeous. And there is tons of shades in this, and it's not that expensive. I think it's like $22, and since you don't need to use that much, this is gonna last me so long. And then I always take a little bit on, like, literally one dot on each temple, and then I go right at the top of the bridge of my nose, just right there, and one dot on the tip of my nose. And then I'm gonna just blend those out, not too strategically, I just want it on that temple. And then with the nose, just lightly blend it out. So now that we're here, you can stop here. You don't have to put any powder on if you don't want to. I frequently do all cream looks and just stop there. I'm just opening up a new Charlotte Tilbury powder. Look at how dirty this one is. I finally finished it. I've been going around the edges for months now. It finally just broke, so I'm done with it. I've had this for like, dude, almost 3 years. Lasts me so long, and this powder is just worth it. Because I know it's expensive, but I didn't even mention why I'm using this. I use this under my eyes. It makes your under eyes look flawless, and oh, look how pretty the new pan is. But like I said, it lasted me 3 years, and you don't really have to worry about powders when it comes to shelf life, because since there's no moisture in them, they're not going to grow bacteria like a liquid does. For setting my under eyes, I always use this brush. Anything small and tapered like this is perfect. This is the BH Cosmetics number 4 brush. I like this shape for setting my under eye because it just gets in there perfectly. Since my concealer has been sitting there without being set for a while, I'm just going to tap out the creases it has created and then go straight in with the powder. And the first thing I do is go straight in here and I just tap in there. I don't really move the brush around. I just want to set that area really quick before it creases. And then I go all the way under my eye following that shape I did my concealer in. And then I bring it down where I put that concealer. But what I do is I avoid where I put that highlighter so that it can still glow. And then just a little on the lid so that it doesn't crease in the crease. I go around the edges of my mode. I always put this on my chin, right here between my brows and a little bit upwards. And then I always hit my smile lines with this. So I go like this to stretch it out. And I just tap. I think that this powder does a really good job at keeping my smile lines in check. And there you go. You can see how flawless that makes my under eyes look. And like even the places that I put it on my chin, on my smile lines, it looks so smooth and poreless and seamless. If you watch any of my videos from the past, I can't tell you the last time I used something else on my under eyes. So now for face powder, I use a lot of different things. This is what I go for when I want a little more coverage on my face, a little more color on my face. It's the Laura Geller Baked Elements Foundation in Golden Medium. This is one of my favorite things ever. It's the CoverGirl Clean Fresh pressed powder in translucent. It's just a translucent pressed powder. This is great for a light little set. The Laura Mercier powders are always fantastic. We all know this. This is just the regular one in translucent. And then this is the glow one in translucent. So if you want more of a glow to your skin, you can use this. And then something similar to the Laura Mercier one, the glow one, but a little less glowy, is the Hourglass powder. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the Hourglass one because I want more of a glow to my skin today. I have these two brushes, very different. This one is super fluffy and light and not very dense at all. This is from Sonia Kashuk. It doesn't have a number on it, frustrating. But there's a lot of brushes like this out there. And then I also have this from Doll 10. It is the number 18 brush. This is more dense, and I like using this one specifically with this powder if I want some more coverage. But I always start down here and just go in circular motions. And then I work my way up to the bronzer and the blush. And I still don't touch that highlighter. I don't put powder over the highlighter. So now you can see that I have set my skin other than the places of the highlighter, but I don't look too matte because of this powder. Like you can see my forehead still has a little radiance going on. I don't look super matte, but my face is set. So now moving on to bronzer. This is the Benefit Hoola Caramel. Great shade. I have the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I have mine in the shade Deep Bronzer. They came out with different shades. This one's really nice. And then I also have this Becca bronzer, Sunlit Bronzer in the shade Bronzed Bondi. And this has a really nice glow to it. So if you want to continue with the glowy trend, you can do this. But one thing that I do is I'll apply just whatever bronzer I want and then lightly dust this over it to give me more of a glow. So I'm going to go in with Hoola Caramel today. For bronzer, I always go in with a tapered, fluffy brush. So you can see these are all tapered. This is the Doll 10 number 12 brush. This is the Scott Barnes number 64 brush. It's a little smaller, less fluffy. And this is the BH Cosmetics number 1 brush. I'm going to go in with the Doll 10 one because I like how it's a little more fluffy, so it's not going to give me so much. Hoola Caramel is very pigmented, so I tap off as much as I can. And I'm just going to place it exactly where I placed my cream bronzer. I'm going to start here at the end, at the edge where my hairline is, and lightly blend. Like, I am barely touching my face. And then I'm going to start pulling it towards the apple, but not too far in. I stop it at about right here. And then after I kind of get it placed where I want, I start going in circular motions upward. You never want to drag it down. You don't want to go below this line. And if you place your bronzer and contour correctly, you don't have to do a bake and get that, you know, sharp contoured line. See how all I used was bronzer and I just did more of a strategic approach to placing it? I don't even need contour. What I do is anything that's just left on the brush, I don't go back into there. I literally just run it on my nose to give my nose some color. Again, you can contour your nose if you would like. And then I'm just gonna lightly take the tiniest bit more and run it on my hairline. And like I said in the beginning, doing those creams before, you don't have to apply that much powder. And then for some reason, I always go in a circular motion under my chin. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and, like I said before, I'm going to just put some bronzer on my neck so that I match a little more, but like not too much. I'm basically just using one little dip into the bronzer and blending it everywhere. Gorgeous. You can contour if you would like, but I already look sculpted because of the way I did my bronzer. I like to just cut out contour as a step fully because then it's like you don't need to buy any of those contour products. You save time, you skip a step. Like, I don't need contour, but I will show you how I do it when I do it. It's very rare, but it's for like special occasions, like if I'm trying to look super glam. So for that, I literally only use this brush ever. It is, oh my god, it all rubbed off. It's the Luxie 1010 Small Contour. Dip it in the contour and I would use a tapping motion right here. Concentrate it right here, stop about right here, right where your eye starts. I wouldn't bring it any further. That's literally all I would do. But when I do contour, I like to do my bronzer first, because then when you go in with contour after the bronzer, you already kind of have a guide for it and it's going to blend in much easier and you don't need to use as much product. Now we have come to blush. Powder blush is my favorite. I don't know why. Any of the Laura Mercier blushes, fantastic. All fantastic. Any, and I'm telling you, any of the Buxom blushes, so good. They have this beautiful glow to them. Any of the MAC blushes are beautiful. I just have these two in front of me. This is matte, this is Peaches, and this is a newer one, but it's super glowy. And yeah, I mean, blush is a personal preference. You can go for something super matte, you can go for something more satin, more natural looking, you can go for something more like super glowy, almost a little sparkly. And then the color of blush, I honestly think that anyone can use any shade of blush they would like. You just need to find the right like lightness or deepness of it. Let's see what I want to go for today. I'm going to use the Buxom, holy shit, I'm going to use the Buxom blush in Mykonos. This is so, it is a nice peachy tone, but it's pretty bright, but it has that glow to it that's just gorgeous. Oh my god, this one makes me like. Here are the three brushes that I would go for. This is usually my go-to. It's the Doll 10 number 20 brush, just a nice shape. This is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH06, super fluffy. And then I showed you guys this one for bronzer, but this is beautiful for blush as well. Scott Barnes number 64 brush. I'm actually going to go in with the Scott Barnes one. The Buxom blushes are very pigmented, so go ahead and tap off that excess. And I'm just going to place it exactly where I placed my cream blush. and give my face that lifted effect. And I hold the brush super low like this. You can see the bottom of the brush is right here. I hold it down here so that I use a really light hand. And that's something that's actually super important when it comes to your brushes, the placement of your hand and where you're holding it. If I hold it up here, it's hard to be light with it. But when you hold it down here, you have all this movement of the brush like this, that I just literally set my hand down here and I move my middle finger to like tap it and fluff it on the cheek, almost in a little circular motion. It honestly drives me a little nuts when people don't use blush, just because I think it pulls everything together when you use blush. I think people forget that you can find a more natural shade of blush that's just gonna give you a tiny little flush. And I'll actually show you guys one. If you're that type of person who's like, I don't like to look rosy, like my cheeks are naturally rosy, this is a blush that would be great for you guys who don't like the bright blush, the rosy pink, orangey blushes. This is the Mercier blush in the color Fresco. See how neutral it is? It's more of a bronze tone, but it has the tiniest bit of pink pigment in there. You can see it. It's so natural, so light. It's very beautiful. I wear it. But I think this is a great type of shade for those of you who don't like the blush look. But I did forget to mention that I do tap it around my nose, just how I did with the powder. I mean, with the cream. You can see I don't need to put on highlighter. Like, the highlighter is very much there. But I'll do some just for you. These are some of my favorite highlighters. We have the Estee Lauder Heat Wave, very popular. This is always my go-to, Max Soft and Gentle, mineralized skin finish. Just so pretty. The Jaclyn highlighters, all of the Jaclyn highlighters are actually fantastic. And then the Benefit Cookie highlighter is great. This is when I want a really intense glow. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of the Estee Lauder Heat Wave. And the brush I use for highlighter is the Real Techniques 402 brush. I'm literally not going to do that much. I'm just going to tap it right on the highest point, right here. And then you can use your finger to do your nose, but I just do really lightly where I put the cream highlighter, so right at the top of the bridge, right on the tip, not too much. Next step, I like to go in with a brightening powder under my eyes. I do it afterwards just because I think it allows you to see how your face is already looking with everything on it and gives you an idea of what you need. What I do is I go in with this. This is the Jaclyn, this is newer, but this is the Jaclyn Hill Brightening and Setting palette. It has 4 different shades in it, 2 different palettes with different shades. Great shade range. So I like to mix these two. And I'm going to do the same thing where I tap it and concentrate it right here, just how I did with Setting. And then I'm just going to bring it down a little bit and bring it to the side a little bit. And you can see the difference. Like, you really can. It brightened me up, it brought that out. It's really, really pretty. And then I'll always go back with the blush brush I use. Just make sure there's no weird line. When it comes to setting the face, sometimes I don't even set the face, as in setting spray, because I try to use minimal powder so that my face already has the non-powder look. And as you can see, I don't look powdery. But what I do like to use, I mean, this is typical, but it's the Urban Decay All Nighter. This really makes your makeup stay. This is great for when you're wearing a mask and you want your makeup to stay. So if you are more of an oily girl, definitely go for a spray that's going to mattify you a little bit. This one does that. But if you want something a little more glowy, there's the Rare Beauty spray. This makes your makeup look so nice, so dewy. This is the Catrice Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Fixing Spray. So good, you just gotta shake it a little bit. And the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. But I'm going to finish my makeup off camera, then I'll do some setting spray and end the video there. Okay, I finished the rest of my makeup. I just did like literally one color on the lid, some inner corner highlight, 2 little gems on each side. and then my lip. So last thing we're going to do is spray the face, and then I want to show you something a little fun that you can do. I'm going to use the Colourpop Pretty Fresh one because I really like the way it makes the skin look. I was obsessed with this for a second. And the mist is just like amazing. I don't know. Now what I want to show you is how I do my faux freckles. I take the Benefit Gimme Brow. You can take any tinted brow gel. Mine is in the shade 3. So first when you take it out, there's going to be a lot of product stuck at the top of it. So I just wipe it off because I don't want all of that to go on my face. And then all I do is I just start tapping this on the nose. You can see that it's making those dots. And then tap out with my finger. It makes them look super, super natural. I do go a little bit on the side of my nose just to get that natural flow. Just a little bit. Look how cute that is. That is how I get my flawless face makeup. But yeah, go ahead and try some of these techniques. Try some of those products, brushes, whatever you want. I will link all of the face products that I use down below, just in case you guys want them. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, click the like button, follow me on my Instagram, it's at WhitneyLebimoff. Comment down below anything you want to see from me, literally anything at all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you.